coffee, grab your notebook, grab your computer, and get ready to take notes because we are going to be going over the 2025 trend predictions for fashion this year. You want to get comfortable before we start? If you are new here, hello and welcome. My name is Claire. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I don't know about you, but I cannot believe that it's 2025. I'm having a little bit of an existential crisis here. I'm turning 30 this year, so that's gonna be fun. Trend predictions have always been something that I've been really interested in since going to school for fashion. I think being able to predict the climate of what people are going to be wearing and what will be trickling down from high-end runways to our local box retailers and beyond is really, really exciting and really cool to see. Now, these trends are predicted by a lot of different factors, including political climate, including the economy, and where we are as a society in general. So every year you see different trend predictions, some that are micro trends, which are going to be ones that come in and out really quickly, or ones that are long lasting. We're going to be going over a couple of both, ones that I think that will actually stand the test of time and ones that I think that are going to be by fall. Obviously, with predicting, we can never know for sure, so definitely take this with a grain of salt, but I have done research to back up some of my claims. And also, as a disclaimer, never feel like you need to go with any sort of trend or feel the pressure of having to buy in order to create these trends. In the coming weeks, I will definitely be going to different thrift stores and different affordable locations so that we can find all these items for a reasonable price and you can actually incorporate your style without losing yourself in these trends. So without further ado, let's get into the 2025 fashion trend predictions. The first trend that I am really excited about and will be incorporating back into my style, because I used to dress like this all the time in high school, is boho, bohemian, free spirit, those kinds of things. We've been seeing that suede and boho bags have been really popular for fall and winter in 2024, and that's not going away for one of the predicted trends of 2025 as well. As you can see here, Chloe, Free People, Reformation, Abercrombie, brands of all different price points have been slowly starting to incorporate bohemian trends back into their rotation. When I think of the boho trend and what brings it into 2025 is the mix of not only like the standard bohemian with the flowy prints, paisley and suede and things like that, but bringing in elements that are gonna make it a little bit edgier. I'm gonna put some photos here, as you can see, breaking up some of that boho, flowy, free spirit vibe with like a leather jacket or a really funky boot. Brings in a lot of different elements and can make it really interesting and fresh. This style that we've seen a resurgence of in many years of fashion, and kind of bring it into something that's going to be new for 2025. I think some really easy ways to style a trend like this is to start with one article of clothing that's gonna be really flowy. So like flowy top with some bell sleeves, long sheer dress with some ruffles or lace, and then pairing it with something stark like a leather jacket, a big suede belt, some Doc Martens, cowboy boots, and then adding a lot of fun, interesting mixed metals of jewelry. Or you could even throw on a suede or leather vest as well. These are things that I know that you can find thrifting, whether long sleeve or short sleeve, all over my local thrift stores. And if you're wanting a really good leather jacket, I suggest going to a store like a Buffalo Exchange or a Crossroads or a antique shop that has a really nice blazer, things like that that you can find. Antique shops are also really good for scarves and bangles and funky rings. You can really get into that boho aesthetic. You can also just incorporate what you already have. Bell bottoms and flare pants, barrel jeans and a flowy top with some cowboy boots or some suede boots and a boho bag, I think is a great combination. This is a trend that I will definitely be thrifting, so I'm really excited to see see where this one goes and what we see throughout the year, and how this trend will change with the seasons as well. Next up, another trend that I've been seeing coined in a couple of the websites that I was researching on, the maximalist aesthetic or more is more trend. We saw this a lot with bag charms recently, adding embellishments and bringing back the chunkier necklace that we've been seeing lately, charm necklaces, maximalist rings, and just wearing a lot of layers. For the longest time, we had minimalism, we had clean girl aesthetic, less is more, and in a lot of ways I think that is still true, but of course, you've probably seen before, the pendulum always swings from one extreme to the other. So while we had the minimalist aesthetic and the capsule wardrobe, which again I still think is very prevalent and very necessary, pendulum is now swinging to maximalism core, and adding a lot to your wardrobe to make it more interesting. Last year I did a video on this trend with purses where I added a bunch of bag charms to one of my purses, as you can see here, and there is something fun about having a bag that has a lot of different charms on it. It's interesting, it makes it unique and personal, and I think with the maximalism trend there really are no rules. I think this also goes into personal style remaining supreme in whatever your wardrobe looks like. So if you're interested in this trend or interested in trying out maximalism, that may look different for you than someone else. For me, it was adding more jewelry and more interesting charms and things to the accessories in my life rather than the clothing. As you can tell, I've kind of really leaned into that this year, but I'm gonna leave this one to be subjective because I think maximalism can mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people. And if you want me to do more of a deep dive into that, definitely leave me a comment. For a color trend that's going to be coming to 2025, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot in all the seasons, is red. Now, again, this is nothing new. I'm not trying to redo the wheel. We've been seeing red as a staple for quite a few years now, specifically in the fall and winter. We've seen more of a bright red. We've seen more of like a more darker maroon and burgundy. And for 2025, we are now moving into cherry red. Not only cherry red, the color, but also cherries in general as a pattern. This is a little bit random, but I recently saw at Target for their spring and Valentine's Day collection that there are cherries everywhere. We also saw this trend in Coach and some more brands here, but cherry red is gonna be kind of like the middle ground of a more bright red, like a Christmas red and a burgundy. Cherry red is like a cousin of those two colors. And again, I will put some photos here. Now, what I really like about this type of more like warm, muted red is that I think it can be incorporated throughout every single season. And hear me out, even in summer too. Obviously, we're gonna see a lot of cherry red in the colder months because of that warmth, but I definitely think that you can incorporate it into your wardrobe as well in spring and summer. There's a UK brand that I really like that's been doing cherry red. I think I'm gonna butcher the name. Damson Matter, I think it is. They've been incorporating a lot of cherry red into their most recent spring collection. I absolutely love their silhouettes and one day hope to own an item from them. Another trend that we are seeing specifically to jeans or pants is, I don't know if I can say this, and it kind of really does make me sad to say, but skinny jeans. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of skinny jeans, although I did wear them in my teens. I think there's just something about a wide leg pant, a flare, that is super flattering, but unfortunately, I don't make the rules, and so skinny jeans are coming back. But I think they're going to be a little bit more modern instead of like the ankle tight skinny jean that we saw back in the early 2000s, 2010s, and making it just a little bit more tailored at the bottom, kind of like the style of cigarette pants. And also we saw the resurgence of capris as well, which I think also kind of goes along in the same vein. It's just a longer capri pant. When I was looking at research for this trend, one of the websites that I found was saying Coach, Diesel, Off-White, brands like this were bringing back the skinny jean because we're still seeing, again, another resurgence of the aesthetic indie sleeves, which was like the Tumblr aesthetic that we saw back in the 2010s when skinny jeans reigned supreme. From what I found on this trend, there's not much styling, a lot of t-shirts, a lot of basics, a lot of blazers, and I am skeptical about bringing this trend back. I think personally I probably won't bring this into my wardrobe. I did wear capris and I really liked those for spring and summer last year. Sometimes with different body types, certain pairs of jeans to me don't look flattering on my body. So I won't be going out and thrifting skinny jeans anytime soon. Cue me in 6 months wearing skinny jeans. I also want to say too, trends and fashion cycles are always coming back in style. Just like how I said skinny jeans are back in style, we're also seeing the boho aesthetic too. I feel like we haven't really found a new true aesthetic that stays, that lasts the test of time. We're kind of always going back to those tried and true aesthetics that we know and have worn in the past. Another trend that we're seeing, although this is kind of turning into aesthetics as well, is the Fisherman aesthetic. Now I know that kind of sounds ridiculous, and if you watched other videos that I've done from last spring, we talked about the coastal cowgirl, coastal grandma, and those type of aesthetics. And the newest one that people are coining are the Fisherman aesthetic. This kind of gives me that same vibe as the ones that I just mentioned, although maybe more of like a masculine twist to it. And for this one, I'm actually gonna read you a quote from The Independent, which is one of the places where I found that this aesthetic is gonna be really popular. So it says, "Think beige cable knit sweaters in the winter, a yellow raincoat for spring showers, and leather fisherman sandals for the summer." According to the social media app Pinterest, searches for fisherman sandals have increased 30%, while searches for sardine tattoos are reportedly up 80%. You can choose to believe this or not, but maybe it's just a load of carp? You guys, I don't know about this one. This just feels like those trends that you've seen online that are calling one color something else now for a nail trend. Rouge on your cheeks and on your lips and calling that strawberry girl makeup. It's just a rebranding of things that we've already seen before, that have already been popular and staples. And I think this is gonna be one that will probably be big in start to summer and end of summer, but I think by fall and winter I think we're gonna scrap it again. That doesn't mean that the aesthetic or the style of clothing can be outside of the realm of what you have in your closet already. Just like the article said, cable knit sweaters in the winter, a yellow raincoat for spring showers, and fisherman sandals for the summer, those are most likely things you probably already have in your closet or something that's similar. Bring out your cable knit sweater and a skirt for spring. I don't have a yellow raincoat, but I just recently got a red one. The beanies and the knits, that kind of East Coast style I would call it, I think is something really easy that you can incorporate or already have in your wardrobe. If you do want to lean into this aesthetic, obviously I'm not trying to take anything away from that, but I think it's just rebranding something that we've already seen before. And again, here are some photos here that I think kind of encapsulate that style. I do want to say too that this kind of reminds me of the style that we saw last summer, which kind of went up and down as the seasons change, which was that like mermaid aesthetic. I think in the spring and summer, as we're outside more, maybe we're closer to the beach or a body of water, that kind of vibe always comes up. I think the similarity of mermaid fishermen for these trends is very interesting. Again, no tea, no shade. I don't think I would call what I'm wearing Fisherman Aesthetic, but I will say if you guys are interested in at least me thrifting it to kind of get the vibe, because you did say in this poll that you want me to start doing more trend and aesthetic styling, I can still do that too. I know I mentioned them already, but Besam Mater did a lot of this kind of aesthetic for their spring collection as well, which also leads us into the next trend of 2025, which is going to be statement collars. When looking up brands for this trend, I saw everything from Boden, ASOS, Amazon, Lulu's, basically all different price points. But I think the most special ones that you could find would be off of Etsy or Thrifted or something secondhand. The 1960s had a lot of those type of collars, and even into the 80s as well. So I think it would be really fun and interesting to find something like that as well. What's also funny about this trend is when I was looking at specifically statement collars for different brands and articles about it, I found an article from December 21st of 2020 saying 15 approachable statement collars to try in 2021. So this trend is not new, and obviously, like I just mentioned, the 1960s and different decades like that, but this trend is already coming back around less than 5 years later. One last trend that I'm going to bring you for 2025, one that we've seen again that's been a long-standing trend for the last couple of years, is bringing in athletic wear and sporty wear into your normal wardrobe. We saw track pants and jerseys and the Adidas Sambas basically take over the last 2 years, and this trend is not going away in 2025 either. One that comes to mind specifically is that Old Navy just recently did their like 1994, I believe, collection again, and basically redid it in stores, and it was basically all a take on their sportswear and kind of the more like athletic tops and sweats that they had back then. We also saw last year, like I mentioned, the track pants with a cutesy top, jerseys with skirts, and so I think we're going to be bringing that into 2025 as well. I'm going to read you another quote from Vogue Business where it's talking about the sporty trend. It says, on Depop, search is up for jerseys 96% from May to June 2024. Basketball shorts 124% since the start of 2024, and tennis shorts 22% since the 1st of July. I expect to see some of these make star appearances on the runway for spring/summer 2025. It's a refreshing shift from the consistent pendulum swing we're used to seeing in fashion, but as audiences increasingly seek newness from the rapid micro-trend cycle, designers will need to bring fresh takes to capture attention. I think this is a great way that it encapsulates kind of what this trend is meaning. I think there are certain circumstances and times where this trend was going to be really popular. Again, like they talked about last summer, where it's hotter out and you want to wear more lighter fabrics, you're more active. But we also saw it in fall and winter as well. And I think mixing our active lifestyle with everyday fashion is really cool and unique, and something that I've been kind of incorporating into my wardrobe as well. One, for the comfort aspect, and also because I kind of like that sportier lifestyle and clothing. But I think we are going to end it today with these few trends. Obviously, when I was doing research on this, I found a ton of these, so I can definitely make a part 2 if you're interested. But like I mentioned before, trends are subjective. Things can change, obviously. And if you're not feeling a trend for whatever reason, or if it doesn't fit your lifestyle, then definitely scratch it. There's no need to be part of these trends. In 2025, we are bringing in things that we enjoy, things that feel good and look good on us, and don't necessarily have to be all about overconsumption. So while I do like doing these trend predictions, and I know you do as well, it's a good reminder that you don't always have to be a part of the trends. I can also do a list of trends that I am absolutely saying no to, ones that I'm considering, and ones that I'm saying yes to as well. And of course, we're going to be doing a lot of thrifting for this kind of stuff as well. But that is going to be it for me today. If you do enjoy this kind of content, definitely give this video a like, a comment, and subscribe down below. I hope you had a great new year and that you are starting the new year fresh. And if you want to stick around, I'm going to be having a lot of content here, including going live at least hopefully once a week as well. If you're not already, you can definitely find all my social media here as I post more thrifting and lifestyle content over there. And last but not least, I will see you guys on the next video.